IPL finals. Just like that, we are at another finals of IPL, and no surprise to have Chennai Super Kings again featuring in the 10th finals. So exciting contest ahead against Gujarat Titans. So talk to us about the journey of covers off over the course of this IPL.
It has been brilliant, actually. Usually, what happens in the tournaments that we have covered is we get off to a strong start, but towards the middle, we start the differences towards the middle. It sort of balances things out. But with this tournament, actually, we got off to a slower start than usual. Which is unlike covers of what it does usually. But from the middle, around the match number 25 or something, we started to take on a run that has changed probably. And from that match 25 to match 2055, we probably had our best tournament yet. Even if we include all the tournaments that we have covered, the run that we had between match 25 and match 55 55 is our best tournament yet. So that speaks a lot about, and this is a trend that I've been noticing in some of the past tournaments as well, in the last couple of tournaments as well. We sort of ended it strongly, so that shows that we are improving, which is a great news for us, because we have always had the edge when a tournament starts, and we'll continue to have, because of the research that we do, because of the pre-tournament research we do, because of the better understanding of players that we will have, and we'll always have that. So that's not a worry for us at all. But what we really wanted to do was crack the middle stretch, because that's key. Because you'll have to end it strongly, and that's what we're doing with the IPL now. And I'm really excited for the tournaments ahead.
Yeah, amazing. I was just following your Twitter and I came across this email from Krishnaraj to you. Says, thank you for building a beast of a company, being your premium subscriber. I can honestly say that you have done something which no one could have ever thought of doing it in cricket. So credits were due. So he's saying that going through the match sheets, which I've always said, either you're playing fantasy or not, is such an absorbing content to go through before a game. He wants to know whether you could guide him how he can create teams for grand and mini leagues, especially when he wants to create 10 plus teams. It's hard to decide upon the combinations with the differentials, captains and vice captain. So he's asking, how would you approach, while going for it?
This is an exclusive service that we have for our premium subscribers, in a way that we cannot personally respond to all of the questions we receive from all our subscribers because of the sheer volume that we have. But if you are one of our premium subscribers, you can mail us. We have an exclusive mail ID that you can mail it to, and then we'll reply, and we'll personally attend to your queries as well. Krishnaraj's query has been responded to as well. So, but to address this, I think we are working on we are working on a multi-team generator concept that will probably take covers of concept predicted path of the match. We predict, for example, ahead of every match, we'll predict that it will take the likeliest possible route that this match is supposed to take. We'll predict the route, and that multi-team generator will use that route to generate 10 different teams for you. And considering the only way to crack Grand League is through taking into account all the possibilities. Because on some days, for example, if you take an India Zimbabwe match, the likeliest way that the match is likely to take is that the top three of Indian team will dominate Zimbabwean bowlers, and the Indian bowling unit will also chip in with all the 10 wickets. Or for example, the Indian team will bowl first. Some of its best bowlers will take 3 to 4 wickets, and then the Indian openers will finish the match quickly. So these are the two likeliest routes that the match is supposed to take. So what our multi-team generator will do is generate 8 combinations to fit these two routes, but it will also take into account the exception. Sometimes, for example, if you're playing at Harare, the new ball movement that's available at the mid, at for example, at the start for matches starting at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. at that venue, could still, irrespective of how good a batter you are, you could still get out. So, for example, if New Zealand do Zimbabwe, for example, do have a decent new ball bowlers. So, if they dismiss Indian top three and you have captained the number 4 and number 5 of the Indian team, then that's when you're most likely to win a Grand League. And that's a scenario that the multi-team generator will take into account and give you a couple of combinations for that as well. So very soon you'll have 10 different combinations from our multi-team generator for you to directly enter into the Grand League.
That's going to be a game changer. And this is the input data that you have, which is shared with all subscribers. That would new sheet that has been published for all the GT players and everybody talks about. Obviously, everybody talks about Shubman Gill and the 3 centuries he scored in the last 4 games. But look at their middle order. Vijay Shankar, David Miller, and Rahul Tewatia,
Yeah,
all scoring at a very healthy strike rate and very
mm,
useful contributions when required. I
yeah.
think that's what is really making them a champion team for the this year's IPL, and of course they are the defending champions. But talk to us about Sai Sudarshan. You already spoken always spoken very highly of him, but he's been picked on and off during the entire season. So, what is the thought or logic Hardik Pandya has behind it, and where does Sai Sudarshan start today for the finals?
I think he'll start today because I think Gujarat Titans might have learned their lesson from the hammering they got against CSK at Chepak. But the thinking seems to be that Hardik Pandya prefers to bat higher up the order. And Sai Sudarshan is someone who bats at number three. If he bats at number three, he takes a lot of time out of the game because the guy averages 94 in the first 12 overs. Basically, he gets dismissed only every 94 runs in the first 12 overs. That's how stable he is. Because even if you notice in this season, if you put him in any situation, be it the situation where the new ball does something, or be it in a situation where where the bowlers are spinning the ball, and he always seems to be at the find himself at the home. He's someone only his only real weakness at this point is when he has to accelerate at a crazy rate, which is something you would normally expect for a player of his age. Even Shubman Gill himself faced that issue early on in his career, which will be corrected in a couple of years from now, couple of 2 to 3 years from now. He'll start doing that as well. But for the moment, he's as good an anchor that you could get in the game of in IPL at the moment. So that's what I think is troubling Hardik Pandya in a way, that because he wants to come early on in the innings. Since he wasn't coming early on in the innings because of Sai Sudarshan's presence, they dropped Sai Sudarshan and promoted Hardik Pandya up the order. But Hardik Pandya, as you can see, the series of reds that he has in the sheet, he hasn't been having a great season. So Sai Sudarshan has come back into the 11, and I think he'll be an important player for Gujarat Titans today, especially considering the indifferent form that Saha is in and how early he gets out. Sai Sudarshan is the one who will be tasked with handling Jadeja in particular, and to an extent against Tikshna as well. So he'll be playing at number three for Gujarat Titans today.
Yeah, and especially after Saha, whether he manages to do his cameo or not. Sometimes he gets it going, and lot often in this season he has not really clicked. But Sai's position being a left-hander to come in, to play with Gill, I think that really, like you said, he can take on Jadeja, for example, right? So
Hmm.
it definitely makes a lot of sense for Hardik Pandya to play Sai Sudarshan at number three. But the retired hurt that he did in the last game, was it more tactical, or was there any injury concern for Sai Sudarshan?
It was definitely tactical. As we discussed at the last point, for example, Sai Sudarshan's only real problem is when it comes to crazy acceleration. That is something he doesn't have yet. So I think we were expecting, even some of the commentators were expecting that to happen earlier than they did, but eventually they just gave Rashid Khan an over. For example, they could have given a couple of more overs to the big hitters that they have, Miller himself, Tavatia, and Rashid Khan, and they could have even gotten 10 to 15 runs more. But I think that was definitely tactical.
Yes. And looking at their bowling unit, it perhaps is one of the most balanced bowling unit. Have a Rashid Khan and a Noor Ahmed, left hand, right hand combination and leg spin, and Shami, the kind of form he's been in the entire tournament, and the comeback Mohit Sharma has had. Probably they're missing an express quick, but they have Joshua Little as a left-hand bowler, which also adds to the balance. So, do you think the exodus SRH has been having towards Gujarat Titans? You might see Umran Malik in the Gujarat Titans colours soon.
or Umran Malik or at least Karthik Tyagi, both players who are capable of playing 140, bowling 140 kph plus. But I think they'll hold on to Umran Malik for at least a couple more seasons. But Karthik Tyagi might well be on his way out, and Gujarat Titans, given what they have done with Shivam Mavi and given what they have done with other players as well, some of the players, players like Vijay Shankar, for example, and players like even Shubman Gill, for example, the team, the other franchises don't see the value that these players carry, and Gujarat Titans seem to be picking them up and giving them a new lease of life, and that's what I expect to happen with Karthik Tyagi as well, given Ashish Nair himself is a fast bowling coach.
So before we talk about Chennai Super Kings, let's look at the venue notes quickly. So we have all had this red soil versus black soil conversation in Ahmedabad, but it's very clear given the track they played the second qualifiers at, it's going to be an high scoring deck for the finals.
I think you're referring to Lucknow. Lucknow is where we have had this red soil versus black soil,
Sorry.
and uh, in Ahmedabad, even though it has largely been high-scoring games so far, except there was one exception, I guess, which was a match against DC, 130 for 8 versus 125 for C6, as you can see in the screen. In
Yeah,
the screen, but other than that, it has generally been a high-scoring venue. And the Gujarat Titans mentor or coach, I think Vikram Solanki, has also predicted that it will be another high scoring game. So we are basically expecting another 180 pace, 180 at least today.
yeah, and if a team wins a toss, they're definitely going to prefer to bat first and put the scoreboard pressure on the team chasing.
Absolutely, I think there may be something tricky in play today because Dhoni pointed out how Gujarat Titans are an exceptional chasing team, and hence he would want them to bat first if he has an opportunity to do so. So that will be interesting to see what he does if he wins the toss today. And Gujarat Titans themselves, I think they've been a bit unpredictable. When they're a good run, they decide something. When they lost a couple of matches, they decide something. So it will be interesting to see what happens today.
Yeah. So before we talk about Chennai Super Kings, I was just looking at the season performance. Most number of wickets and runs. Top three bowlers are Gujarat Titans. Between them, they have taken 79 wickets. And but look at their strike rate and economy rate. It's been a fabulous bowling unit.
It has been, and the way that they have used has been exceptionally good, and it is advanced, and a lot of teams don't use it that way. For example, Shami regularly bowls 3 overs in the power play, and they've also brought in a change with respect to how they use their spinners. There was a period in the middle where they used them late in the innings, but they've now realized that they need to break, especially when they bat first. They realize that they need to break games early. So that's when Rashid Khan and Noor Ahmad are bowling 6 overs back to back between overs 7 and 13. So this breaks the game. This breaks the games in a lot of situations, as opponent batters are forced to try and take these bowlers down. And if they don't, what happens is, if they still don't and they don't lose their wickets, what happens is Mohit Sharma follows them and bowls some tricky, clever slower balls, and they try to accelerate them, and that's when they lose their wickets to Mohit.
Yeah. And Tushar Deshpande, obviously he's been among wickets, but he's been expensive as well. So it would be interesting to see how he fares in the finals.
Yeah, I think his matchup will be particularly key against Riddhiman Saha early on in the innings, because Saha struggles against raw pace and bounce. So that's something Tushar Deshpande can exploit. It's also important, despite the form that Saha is in, it's also important for CSK to get him out early, because he's a kind of batter who doesn't, if he doesn't get out early, could change the match with the 20 ball 40 early on in the innings. So that could be really difficult for CSK going ahead in the innings with the kind of depth that GT have. So its role is going to be crucial today.
So also in the report, you're talking about how the fantasy potential of the middle order and the lower order of Gujarat Titans, would suffer because Patirana, bowls his 4 overs at a trot, starting 13th, 14th over.
Yeah, it's something it says a lot about Patrana. Player bowling in his first full year, the IPL is being talked about as a threat to the likes of David Miller and Rahul Travatia, proper IPL stars. So that's how good Patrana has been, and You cannot probably the only top order batters have been finding it easier to play Patrina with their classical strokes and everything. The conventional power hitters have so far been struggling against Patrina, and I expect that to be the case again today.
And between Jadeja and Patirana, their economy is actually the best out of the top 20 you could see here, even
Hmm.
better than Rashid Khan economy. So very they're among wickets and also especially very difficult to get away for runs. So that's going to be an trump card for Dhoni to use both Jadeja and Patirana against the best of the batsmen that Gujarat Titans have.
Yeah, there is a bit against Hardik Pandya for Ravindra Jadeja to work with. He has regularly got out to slow left arm off spin. That is something that they can try out today. Although he'll generally be handicapped today, in particular because of the nature of the deck. He'll largely enjoy bowling at Chepak, so that's something that CSK will understand. They'll be mindful of that. But Patrana, he's something that despite bowling 4 overs in the last 10, if he has an economy rate like that, what else can we say about him?
Yeah. And in terms of matchups, Devon Conway has had some issues against Shami.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
so, we see the other thing is that again, I was reading about how Deepak Chahar has had success against Shubman Gill. Shubman Gill does have a tendency to pick the ball outside off stump and then use his wrist to play to the
Hmm.
mid wicket area. So, if there is any movement that is available, that could be an advantage for Deepak Chahar.
Yeah, I think yeah, but Mohammad Shami has troubled Devon Conway in the short history that they have had, but Conway generally plays right arm stream well, and considering how good a player he is in Test cricket as well, I think the bigger problem for Conway will come when he gets out of the power play and faces Noor Ahmed and Rashid Khan, the high quality wrist spin, and Noor Ahmed in particular is a great bowler against left-handers so early on in his career. Even when he's at so young, he's an exceptional bowler against left-handers. In Chepak, he troubled him a lot but couldn't get his wicket. While the pitch will be completely different today, I think he'll still be a bigger threat for Conway today. So that's what concerns us the most. As far as Gill versus Chahar is concerned, I've seen this matchup in a couple of different pages as well and websites, but I do not think they've dissected the stat well enough because the numbers against where Chahar is Chahar is at his best in the power play, but Gill has played him well in the last few years. It's probably I think we have it in our we had it somewhere. I'm not sure if it is in this doc. Gill has scored 60 runs of 40 balls without losing his wicket in the first 4 overs. So that says a lot about how good he has dealt Char. But the wickets may have come later in the innings when he's trying to accelerate out of the power play against his slower balls and everything. And that's the problem that Gill had in the past. He struggled. He's really struggled accelerating against slower balls, but he has gotten better against that in this season as well. So I don't expect that to be a big threat for him today.
So, looking at the batting record for the season, obviously Shubman Gill is at the top, but if you see, there is no other Gujarat Titans player almost in the top 20 compared to you have number two and number three,
Hmm.
Faf du Plessis and Virat Kohli. Between them, they have almost played 150 overs, right? 900 balls
Yeah.
at a strike rate of 140,
Hmm.
especially after games being played in Bangalore.
Hmm.
That goes to tell the story about RCB's fate in the season.
Yeah, I think that's something I think these two players have, I'd say, have overachieved. For example, Faf du Plessis is still at the fag end of his career, and for him to do so well, and Kohli struggles against spin, for example, all that taken into account for that, for these two players to do so well, and still RCB didn't really stand a chance to make the playoffs. So that says a lot about how weak their rest of the setup was, and they'll be looking forward to correcting that next year with the auction, with the mini auction upcoming.
Yeah, and you have Conway and Gaikwad in the almost the top seven. So they've done the role really well, but also the middle order they've had useful contribution. Especially Ajinkya Rahane and Jadeja,
Hmm.
even though they scored 20, 30 odd runs, that has come at a good clip.
Yeah, I think this is the tactic that CSK also used in the last time they won a trophy. The middle order was especially the designated had designated cameo players. For example, they came in and they all they did was try and score a 20 ball 35 or a 20 ball 40 even, and that's what they're doing with Dubé this year. And even Rahane seems to have stepped up as intent, and they're making this work because of how stable and opening partnership they have. And that year they had Faf du Plessis at the top, and now they have Conway at the top. That's the only difference, but they are scoring a lot of runs, and they're making this batting unit work with that.
So let's look at the fantasy home. So in your article you said that these seven players
Hmm.
automatically get started in any fantasy 11, but the toss is going to be crucial to decide the final four.
Yeah. I think, yeah, irrespective of what kind of deck that they're going to give us, I think it will be extremely risky to go into this match without having any of these players. For example, we do not expect Jadeja and Hardik Pandya to play a big role today, but we'll have to keep in mind that they also bowl. They also bowl, so it is important. It would be silly to leave them out of your 11. And the rest of the players, I think that's where the impact is. Devon Conway's captaincy and vice captaincy percentage has come down because of the rise of Rutraj Gaikwad in the last couple of innings, and how well Gill has done as well. So if you can notice that Gill, as well, both of these players have been captained by 40 percentage plus managers today. But on the other hand, Conway is only captained or vice captain by 25 percentage of managers. So if you captain Conway today and he works, that is going to be differential for you. So that's as good a differential opportunity that you can get in most games these days. And the real proper differential options are Hardik Pandya and Mohammad Shami. These players have always Mohammad Shami has done well at this venue, so he's never out of question in these situations.
And we spoke about during the SA20 and during the PSL how Rashid Khan, they play him more carefully and he's not been among wickets, but that has kind of changed drastically during the IPL. So talk to us about Rashid Khan's performance, both his bowling and also his exceptional batting, how it has improved, and how he's been delivering results this IPL.
Yes, Rashid Khan was having a difficult time in the BBL and in the SAT20 that followed as well. Players were handling him really well. There wasn't a lot of wickets for him, but that's somewhat started to change. That started to change in the PSL, but it's part of Lahore Qalandar's title winning run, if I recall correctly, and that's something that he has carried over to IPL as well. And on occasions, GT have also helped him get wickets by bowling him late in the innings, by bowling him over number 17 or over number 18, just like there is no option for batters there except trying to take him down. For example, he got 3 wickets against KKR in a similar setting, where he didn't get any wickets in the first 3 overs. But when he was brought back into the attack in the late innings, he picked up three in an over. So that's GT have played a role in Rashid Khan being successful. Now, however, they are using him early on in the innings. Three of his overs are bowled out between 7 and 12, which sort of reduces his fantasy potential. But today, with the likes of Rahane and Dubé in trying to attack or trying to accelerate the scoring, he still stands a good chance to get a couple of wickets.
Yeah. So Gujarat Titans are Chennai Super Kings. Who do you think are the favorites?
I think Gujarat Titans are a stronger team, and they're and they've also brought Sai Sudarshan into the 11, which is something that we have been recommending for a long time now, because without a left-hander, it would be suicidal to face a team like CSK with a right-handed heavy top order. So I think with them having brought in Sai Sudarshan, I think it will be GT today.
I think 7 years from now, 2030, we'll be talking about GT the same way we are talking about CSK today. Maybe they would have made to 10 IPL finals by then.
Yeah, I think I had put out a tweet a couple of weeks back, or even a month or so back, how GT is a team like CSK. People continue to underestimate them because of what they look on paper, and they go out and overachieve, go out and achieve, do better on the field consistently. It's because of the management they have, the approach they have, and the role clarity they give out to their players. It's very much like CSK. So it's basically two teams that approach T20 the same way, playing against each other in the grander stage of the T20 circuit.
I didn't think that I would say this like 15 years back, but 2020 it seems to be the most absorbing form of cricket, right now, with the type of bowlers and the kind of batsmen, the kind of skills they bring in. Everything is put on display in a matter of 240 balls.
Yeah, I think that's something that it's also highly strategical that there are some people have said there was an that when the format started, it was like there were some opinions that said that it could be a hit or miss, where a game where only batters will dominate. It's going to be a six fest or something, but it hasn't been that. Where ballers have innovated, they have come with different types of deliveries. But it has become more of a strategical game where people come in and they win through tactics and strategies in addition to the skill set. So that's how any format of cricket will be, unless it's a 5 over game or a 6 over game. And it's good to see T20 being accepted that way.
All right. So thanks for your time, Al. Thanks for making time on our finals. I know you're extremely busy. You need to go back to work on the both the safe play and the nuclear play for the fantasy 11 formats, but also the other new formats that been covered under the premium pack. So talk to us very briefly about how the premium subscription has been performing for our subscribers.
I think premium is something that where we've always said that daily fantasy is a high pressure game, and if you want to be a professional fantasy player, you cannot be solely dependent on one format of the game that it offers. And just 11-player fantasy is not going to be sustainable for you, and you'll also need some safe plays as well, like we do with our fantasy 11 combinations. You'll have to secure some other options as well, and that's what we are trying to do with premium. We offer a different variety of service in our premium subscription, whereby we also cover trade fantasy, shares fantasy, and also different formats of fantasy. We are partnered with an auction and draft website now, and that's something that we plan to step it up in the days coming by as well. And there is also season fantasy club that we are planning to create, wherein you select a team ahead of every tournament, and that's just it. The team will be sealed, and you'll be given points for the team that you have assembled. It has completely different rules. It is intelligent rules. I'll say it wouldn't have captaincy or vice captaincy, which is making a lot of difference. Basically, if I'm selecting 11 players in my team, I have trust in all of those 11 players. So it doesn't make sense to ask to select two players as captain and vice captain, and that because that creates a new set of confusion that creates a lot of problems for you in real money gaming. This is something we are planning to eliminate, and we are planning to create a season fantasy club as well. For this exclusive service will be provided on our premium channel, and these are the kind of things that we are executing with our premium channel right now. And for example, we talked about a multi-team generator sometime back, and that's something that's going to come out as part of the premium pack as well, because tech is something that's costing us a lot, and that's something that we cannot give it out as part of the basic plan. The usage and consumption of it takes a lot of money from it, so we'll be putting that out as part of our premium plan. So this is what you're basically looking at when you are subscribing to the premium plan of course of.
So we started the season with CSK versus GT and Ahmedabad, ending this IPL 2023 with CSK and GTA again at Ahmedabad. Hopefully the tides turn and CSK beats Gujarat Titans in the finals. So I'm totally rooting for CSK. I know all the data and analysis at the home advantage points in the direction of GT, but hope Tala kind of pulls a rabbit out of the hat, and then CSK crowned IPL finals.
Yeah, I'm seeing images of yellow army marching towards Ahmedabad Stadium. So I think it's just yellow. It's just a sea of yellow, and I think Hardik Pandya is going to be shocked at the toss.
All right, enjoy the finals, and thanks for your time again. I'll take care.
Thank you.
Bye.